turn to page 7 of the Kurukulla prayer book, please. For those that are new today, we go straight through up to and including page 37. Okay. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer, the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer, the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer, the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protector's heart, to tip of this fresh, pure white heap, curd like cloud, O Lobsangtraka, Dharma's omniscient king, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable Guru, smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit. Field for my mind of faith, your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables. Your eloquent speech adorns fortunate ears. Your beauteous body, fame, glory, outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit, non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginning last time, especially what has contradicted 3 vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned mundane concerns, made life essential. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable Gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your Dharmakaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. What a virtue that I've here gathered, bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make Venerable Lobsangdrapa's essential teaching specially shine forever. Mig med se wei te chen chen reisig, Sri me kem pei wang po jam pel yang, du pung ma lu jom se san wei dak, gang chen ke pe su gen Tsongkhapa, Lobsangdrape shabla so wadeb. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted 3 jewels. Thus have I heard at one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomenon called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence, five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional fact, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element and so forth up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth up to no aging and death, and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times, by relying upon the perfection of wisdom, become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata gate gate paragate parasongate bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the three places, Dakinis. Tayata om gate gate paragate parasongate bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted three-jewel speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, shante kurie soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse, harmful conditions. May all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Saji Perki Zon Shimeto Tramri Rablingzi Ni Jesum Lama Dam Pyage Nam He Kala Kien Setrin Drine Jitar Sampe Dulcezin Ma Lazagejuki Charpawaktu So Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami Chongda Somgi Chomna La Jaju Padu Dagnu Kepsuchi Dagi Chonye Gepe Sonam Ki Drola Penchu Sange Drupasho Chongda Songi Chomna La Jagju Padu Dagnu Kepsuchi Dagi Chonye Gepe Sonam Ki Drola Penchu Sange Drupasho Chongde Songi Chomna La Jagju Pardu Dagdu Kapsuchi Dagi Chonyen Gepe Sonam Ki Drola Penchi Sange Drupasho.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
How are you? So? Hope not. No, summer's coming. Spring's coming. You know, there's a goodbye snow and winter. Welcome to some spring. But some people like winter. You guys like winter? You like? Good. Who likes snow? No. Oh, you like snow? Good.
I like it for a little while.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I also like a little while. Anyway, it's nice to we all come together. Where we start to talk. Anyway, try to do a lot of meditation, okay? Usually there are so many different kind of meditation. Like Westerners like to close eyes without moving, without bother anyone. You know, I'm just going to like basically. There are so many different kinds hard to meditation. You know, just think about on the front of you, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the holy beings. You know, first you close your eyes. Just breathe slowly in and out a couple more times. Try to count your beat. Like, you know, I'm breathing in, breathing out. Just only count that. It makes your mind come with you. Just continue. Bring out, bring in, count. Like thinking I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Look, breathing in, breathing out, just count. I'm breathing out, I'm breathing in. Then now, stop the breathing, means stop the counting. Of course you have to breathe, otherwise you will die. In the front of you, all the holy beings. If you say Taras here, Manjushri that, and Lord Confucius, you can think all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, holy beings in front of you. Around you also, your friends, parents, your enemies, also another neutral beings, like all beings. You have nothing to kick out. All beings around you. Around. It's hard to left, right, just around you, all beings. Like thousands, billions, countless beings around with us. Now start thinking by yourself. I wish to, like, I am free from all the sufferings. Recognize your own problems. I believe all you wish to, you're free from all the problems. Then you can think about, like me, all beings around me, same as me, we wish to free from all the problems, all the sickness, all the uncomfortable things, all the unacceptable any activities, like me. Like think about all beings too, same as me, wish to free from all the problems. Then thinking change from the old Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, or holy beings. Like Buddha, he already free from all the problems. Bodhisattvas, almost already free from sufferings. I wish like all sentient beings like Buddha, Bodhisattvas. Like you think you're real some person in front of you, Buddha, Bodhisattva, not just statues, pictures. Like real Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, holy beings around in front of you. Then you pray or you wish to recall all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Please blessing my body, speech, mind to subdue all negative things, negative karmas, negative thoughts, negative actions. recourse for Buddha, Bodhisattvas, or holy beings, please blessing me. When your recourse, like from the all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, heart, 5 different colors, like rainbow color, like light, come from their heart, hit your head, like wash your all negative things. Like blessing, it is a blessing, like color, different colors. Like very strong rain, take all the dirt away from the road like that. To wash your all body, speech, mind, negative karmas. Or is touch all those sentient beings. All sentient beings' problems, sickness, negative things, ignorance, all are washed. Go under the ground. We call the yama. Someone open the mouth under the ground. All the dirts go to his mouth. Also he get like food. Then he close his mouth. That is also very good for the long life for all of us. And now you are the complete clear, free from problems. Try to feel happy feeling. Start yourself, then go to all sentient beings. Like you throw the small piece of rock on the ocean, like the wave, go to all the way. Like that. You share your happy feeling to share all beings. Then join the moment, the happy feeling. Okay, that's good. Otherwise you guys sleeping. Like that, usually there's so many different ways to meditation, but this is all like one part. Easiest way, small. Try to do again. Then you do one thing to familiarize. You can do more. Okay? Then Happy New Year. Happy birthday. Tomorrow is the Tibetan New Year. Then last week we have prepared the New Year, the Tibetan tradition. And so before New Year's, you cling for your, it's possible body, speech, mind. It's very important. Then you are karo. That's our kamba, gomba.
So your house, your environments, everything around you.
Everything.
External things.
External things. We did last week. You guys have very hard work. Also, people get very hurt from statues. It's good, okay? Sometimes say,
some people say that having their head be hit by or
piece rock.
Yeah, ramming their head with a rock and having their behind be rammed by a rock are the same things.
No.
Go. So behind, yeah. So go is the head.
Head.
Hit by a rock.
And statue.
And statue.
Hit is same.
Oh, hit by the head is or touching.
No, just hit, someone hit.
Just hit.
It's same feeling you are. You heard, right? It's correct, Sam? Like, piece of rock fall in your hand, and the statue fall in your hand, it's same way of solving. But we think about the positive way, I got big blessing. Just think about that way. Anyway, you guys very hard work. It's very good. Thank you for all of us. We have several practices, most important practice for,
Is it common?
It's common practice. It's not too difficult. Also daily practice. The first one is Nekang Shudurchava. Nekang Shudurchava. Clean. Nekang.
I think Geshe can speak pretty good English. He can try to speak on his own, yeah?
Like clean your house. Like we can say, clean your house. Clean your shrine room.
Your shrine room, altar.
Shrine room. Sometimes we say, okay, why we are not allowed to bring the dogs, cats in His Kumbha? They get blessing. People have to caution, right? People, why I'm not allowed to bring my dog? Why I'm not allowed to bring my cat? And Buddhism says all ego, all sentient beings ego to, right? Then we say, excuse me, why I'm not allowed to bring my cat here? They get blessing. Yes. Cats, dogs, they're animals. They have no knowledge to what is. Michelle, you need to chair or how you say? How you say? They don't have ability to, this is a positive way, this is a negative way, right? Like example, they're going to poo.
Poo. And if they fart?
Yeah, fart. They can do everywhere. Like Westerners all do very well, right? Like tradition, we just shy. We don't do it in the public place. Like Westerners do everywhere. Like their smell is not good, right? Therefore, I'm just giving a small example. Like the hairs go everywhere. They don't think, I cannot put the hairs here. I get negative karma. Therefore, we the person to one hand they're making maybe some, they can see the statue things, good some positive ways, but second we also they create a lot of negative ways.
Maybe they fart.
The frogs, the hairs go everywhere, and they're not very good smell. We always offering for smell, good smelling incense. Buddha's not, this is good or this is bad. But we have to do best smelling. Also, we don't perform these things. Some good, some not very good. Therefore, like smiling, things fall down. Therefore, they create a negative karma. They don't know they're going to carry negative karma. That we are the person to cause for them to negative karma. Therefore, we say, okay, if maybe they don't get benefit, if they don't get blessing, but they don't create the negative karma. Therefore, just do the one circumambulation. If you really want to come, just circumambulation, 1 time, 2 times. If they poo here, take your poo, Otherwise, we give the fine, $50. Like that, right? Do you understand, right? Sometimes people are like argument, say, why? Yes, we know what's good, what's bad. If you do it or not, it's up to you, right? We know what's good, what's bad, how you create the negative karma, how you create the positive karma. We know. Like animals have not ability to know that. Therefore, we, the person to teaching for them, how to think. Therefore, when you have some animals also during that time, you can put some chantings from there, around them, they can listen. But, not next to the beast bed, but the statues, tankas, then he was sleeping, then he incense. He put all incense all for his father. It's not good, right? Like that way. Yeah, how I have to talk this.
Cleaning the
Oh,
environment.
cleaning is very important, okay? Cleaning is very important, always. When you have a clean place, people like, right? Oh, it's a very clean place, nice place. You put dirt everywhere, like things put together, then it's what? Dirty place. Even the bear smile. Like same. Also in Buddha side also karo. Karshok latsu yungu maris.
So the virtuous gods, the ones who delight in these virtuous paths, they'll find it inhospitable
Yeah.
to come to a dirty environment.
Okay? Therefore, we are the person to correct their things, then we lose our protections. Therefore, always very good to clean your shine room. If you have shine room, always, but very important. Therefore, we did last week very good clean. You guys very hardworking all day. Thank you. I believe you guys create a lot of positive karma. Because the one that Tibetan call Papa Lochumba, I don't know English. First he learned the car, he forgot the car. He studied A, B. When he learned the A, then he start to next B. When he learned B, he already forgot A. He couldn't learn anything.
Rupatubo. So he was kind of dull faculty.
Yeah, dull faculty.
Already.
Then they teach for okay, now you have to more positive karma. He said, okay, just killing the monks' shoes and monks' roads area. Then he killing all the time. Then just okay, you killing here. He's killing everywhere. He have his motivation is very great. I'm able to killing this. Just killing everywhere. Then they teach okay.
So abandon, stay and abandon. You must remember this story from the liberation of the palm of your hand, right?
I think you guys all read. Deep tamapa. Deep means dirt. Tamam is dirt. How is it?
Abandon stain. Yeah.
Then he he got that. Then one day I asked, what means that? What depotomas? Then they say, abandon your negative karma. The nyomo, the chashada, trumasana, and the things our maripa.
So dikpa, so abandon dirt, abandon stain. Dirt is referring to the delusions in one's mind. So it's when we're saying abandon dirt, abandon stain, it's actually abandoning the manifest delusions in our minds, the grosser delusions, and then the stains, which are the more subtle imprints of the ignorance that is left behind, or not left behind, but it refers to the ignorance that is in the mind.
Like that, he do this very hard work. He reached the one life in Dachumba.
So within one life, he became Arhat, a foe destroyer.
Okay? You guys like to come Arhat? Do the hard work. But they're like, even he say, you can say, I want Arhat, you do this, doesn't work. You have to very great motivation to, I want to benefit people, or I'm able to clean, do this. Not only clean, you guys a lot of, hard working, physically, mentally, financially, support the center, is, all go to same direction. If your motivations are good. Okay? Therefore, you guys are killing a lot last year. I don't know, this last week. I don't know, you guys are killing your horse or not. No, right? Like this is even in the Tibetan tradition, if you can see something positive, good way, you can learn that. Doesn't matter other countries or other, well, not countries, but other, how you say?
Culture?
Other cultures. We can learn. If some good ways, we don't want to learn the bad ways, Right? Anything you can learn. Wherever you go, you can see good, positive actions, you can learn that. You can do that yourself. In negative ways, everywhere we don't want like that. Therefore, we try killing that, then like tomorrow's all Tibetan's birthday. You know, tomorrow everyone's 1 year older. We changed our age. After New Year, you say, okay, I'm 48, 47, 49. I don't remember. I think I'm maybe 28. Oh, come back. I think I'm 47. Maybe I become 48. I don't know exactly. 47? Oh, good. Thank you.
I think you're a year older, but I thought you were my age.
Really? Yeah, Kimber told me I'm 48.
Oh, you're a year older tomorrow.
No, it's because by Tibetan counting, they count the number of months, the time that you've already been inside the mother's womb from the conception. So everyone is actually counted 1 year older than the Western count, the way that we compute it. Yeah.
But I'm counting for Western way, okay? Yeah, I'm joking. Anyway, like that, you know. Therefore, like, also the main things I have to do is talk that, you know, like tomorrow or like today. Yesterday we call also, we do also, the monasteries, we do a lot of pujas, prayers. Also get out all the 1 year's, all obstacles, barriers. They do 5 puja, big ones. Even within the family members also they do some koda, some tupa, gutu, 9 different kind atoms per the tupa. Also they put some small noodles, put inside auspicious things, unauspicious things, you know, they have tupa, what do you have. Then like that, after they're done, this is not everywhere, like most Central Tibetan. Then they pray together, then the evening also they do short pray, then things like little dirt and left over the tupa, they also take out the turab. They say, okay, 1 year, all the bad things, obstacles, we have to go with them, don't come with me, you know, like that. They're killing. Now, like today's, everyone's killing. Everyone's very bad. Then also they're like commandment. They do always some commandments. You know, okay, I did last year, like, you know, bad like this. I'm not doing anymore like that. You know, anything they do, some commandment, study, practice, you know, good have, got it. Good have, got it. Namji apo.
Good.
Good have, how is it? No. Namjur. Action. Yeah.
So good countenance, showing good countenance to others, good attitude.
Yeah, like that. You know, anything, you know, okay, I'm become better person. Change it, okay. You have to identify what you did bad things. Like, you know, 4 appointment powers, right? Like that. You understand, you remember, or you recognize what you did wrong. Then you have a regret. When you regret, you say, okay, I want to take out, you know, same thing like you eat the poison. Then you recognize, or you know, you eat the poison, okay, I'm the poison. You try to take out that, take so many medicines. It's, I'm not doing any more like that. Like that, you know. Therefore, you know, we say, okay, I did last year, I'm a bad person. No, I always, you know, like that. So many problems, right? You guys bad things you did? You didn't maybe recognize. Therefore, then you can, like, commandment. The word commandment, you can say, okay, since the New Year, you can count Tibetan New Year, okay, it's okay. Usually, do you guys chore? Tomorrow you guys bring the chore, okay? Tibetan dress. Then you can, like, Tibetan tradition. Anyway, like that, you know, tomorrow also, you can see the Tibetans, they also wear the, yeah, dress, traditional dress, new ones, like fancy ones, you know. You know, they've taught to, you know, they're killing their body, speech, mind, even the cloth, taught to clean. They don't want to go with them, the bad things. But I like to, you know, you guys also, like, commandment, you know, I'm just small things, not too big, you know. You can say, okay, I'm going to do 3 prostration before I go bed. Then in the morning, then you can do 6 prostrations every day. Then 1 year, we really count last week, right? Then you're already doing that. Then I say, okay, I'm going to do like meditation, 5 minutes. It's too long? 2 minutes. Okay? I'm thinking about meditation like bodhicitta, just 2 minutes. Not just Western, just stay there, nothing. It's quite not like that, okay? You know, I'm going to read the book, like really some Lam-rim every day, 5 minutes. Right? Then I'm going to one mala, Oman Pemo. Even just you can commandment. I'm not saying you have to command everything. Whatever you are fit you for you, okay? Fit. Right? Fit for you.
Whatever works for you.
What is the works for you, okay? Well, I have to do that. You know, you say, try to this. Last minute, you don't get anything, not like that. You're very familiar with one, then you can jump. Like, you know, the postation is very, you know, when you do like, just try 1 month. Maybe you need to learn effort, otherwise you forgot. You do 1 month without forgot, then when you time to sleep, you remember, just automatic. You don't need to put a note, just you remember. Then you are really familiar, you can do some another jump, okay? Like that. Just small things, okay? Like, you know, in the meditation also, so many ways. Like, you know, we recite the fourth feet teaching, you know, I say, Tsongkhapa.
So the refuge in bodhicitta that we recite
Right.
at the beginning of teaching time.
You can read that slowly, think about that. And the fourth, you know, refuge. And bodhicitta is the kreda you are.
It's in order to create your merit, your collection of virtues. It's the collection of merit.
Correct, merit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is very easy. I know that. Some other phrase words. Kill the merit. Then dark shinto jibeso, dark side.
So then when we say
Dark shinto jibeso.
dak means I, so when it says by the virtues of that I've created, the collection I've created through my generosity and so forth, by practicing generosity. So the I in that.
Then Jangchub bada dana jobsam jese yang
And
da
also until enlightenment, I go for refuge. So the mention of the I there, the I.
That term His Holiness talk about. This is a talk about emptiness.
So His Holiness has mentioned in his teachings that in those 4 lines of refuge and bodhicitta, it contains both the collection of merit and collection of wisdom. Collection of merit because going for refuge, practicing generosity and so forth, those are falling into the category of merit, creating merit. When the reference to the I, and then by referring to the I, then you think about the emptiness of the I. How does that I exist and so forth, right? I'm just filling in the space here. Okay, so just don't mind me. I'm just clarifying. Geshe didn't actually go into details. I'm just filling in the space here. So His Holiness has said this in his teachings that by the referring to the I, the mentioning the I, then you think, well, the I, who is this I? How does this I exist? How does this I appear and so forth? But reflecting on the nature of that I and how it exists versus how it appears to us, then that is creating the collection of wisdom that is helping to create, or that is adding to the collection of wisdom.
Okay? There are only 4 sentences. 4 sentences, I say.
The only 4 lines,
4 lines
in that one stanza.
They talk about all Buddhism. Everything that is included. Therefore you can memorize that. You know, think about that. Okay? In order to achieve enlightenment, we need to create the 2 merits.
2 kinds
Merit,
of collections.
2 kind merit.
Of collection.
2 kind collection merits.
So는 merit.
So는 그 속당 이식소.
속는 collection이.
알레.
그냥 소는 게 2 collections라.
Yeah.
속니 그거라.
손이 그랬어.
So 2 kinds of collection.
2 kinds of collections.
A collection of merit.
A collection of merit and a collection of wisdom. Okay? Like fly, birds. You need to fly, you need 2 flies. 2 wings. Right? Even airplane, 2 wings. In the car, you need 4 wheels. Right? If you walk, we have 2 hands.
2 legs.
2 legs. Right? Everything 2. Like Karo, Omanjupa. Dharmakiti,
entering the middle way. Sorry, I just blanked out. Umanjupa.
Yeah, there are 10 chapters.
Shantakritis.
Shantakritis.
Umanjupara.
Padindawa. Dharmakiti.
Padindawa.
Yeah, Padindawa. Dharmakiti.
Dharmakiti.
Yeah, Dharmakiti. The middle way, right? Yeah.
Entering the middle way? Are you
Into the
familiar
middle
with
way?
that text?
Yeah, Dharma Kiti, right? Omanjupa. Do you know Omanjupa? No. Yeah, anyway. Omanjupa, Tibetan call Omanjupa. I think middle way we call it middle way.
Yeah.
It's composed for the monks.
Entering the middle way,
Yeah, monks memorize that. There are 10 chapters. The last chapter say the Ngamba. What is Ngamba? Ngamba means what?
Ngamba.
Changamba. Birds, big ones.
It's a type of bird. It's a big bird. Let's
Big
call
bird.
him big bird.
When
Sorry, I'm not exactly sure what the
they give example, that big bird, that big bird, how is it? Ooh, Ngamba, big bird.
Oh, an owl.
No owl, no owl.
Oh?
No
Oh, no,
eagle.
duck.
Duck, yeah, duck,
Duck.
like duck, duck.
Duck or swan. They
Yeah.
use it they use the same term
Yeah.
for either swans or geese. Big duck.
I think like geese, yeah.
Yeah.
Geese go far away, they use their two wings slowly, right? Not like that. They're far away. Then they say the end of the chapter, they say, like that we are Sonam Soda Ishik Tsoni, Yamsalani, and the Jangamba Namla Pavanaji, Sanji Komatogoris.
And so in the same way that the birds, the geese, I guess, Changangba, the way that these gradually, slowly fly up in the sky, so in the same way, by using the two collections of wisdom and merit, then we will also progress towards full enlightenment. So the geese, these birds, by using their two wings, are able to cross the great ocean. And so in the same way, then we can use the wings of the two collections of merit of wisdom to cross the great ocean of samsara.
Okay? If you stay the ocean samsara, you're over the problem. You fix here, problem here. Fix here, or problem here. Right? If you're leaking here, you put some step here, they come other place. So here they all put. You have to stop top, upside. Therefore, top, upside, who stop? Dak chunsoji sonumji, dance mariba, nam pana, dangdan.
Doesn't bangla.
Pana ani chetogres.
Okay, so then in order to stop from the very root, or Geshe's example was from the very top of the roof, if you want to stop the leak that is happening inside the room, then you have to stop it from the top, from the roof, right? In the same way that if you want to stop that very root of all that suffering or all that leaking, then you have to stop the self-grasping ignorance, which is the root of all suffering and delusions.
Okay? Therefore, just 4 lands, they talk about all. If you Buddhism or not, what's identified? If you're refuge, I'm just,
So he's speaking here in general terms for it to be easily understood, not going into specific details, not being technical, but he's speaking in generally.
If you go to technically, if you have to, if you're refuge or not, you have so many small piece, you have to understand that, Just, Buddhism not. Are you Buddhism or not? Are you Buddhism practice or not? If you have refuge, you have Buddhism.
Refuge in 3 jewels, right?
The refuge 3 jewels, okay? Therefore, first 2 lines talk about refuge 3 jewels. 3 jewels for refuge.
Yeah, refuge in the 3 jewels, going for
Okay.
refuge in the 3 jewels.
Then we say, I'm Mahayana. Theravada, we say, right? I'm Mahayana person. If you Mahayana practice or not, you have bodhicitta. If you have, you have?
Generate bodhicitta.
Or you generate bodhicitta, or you are Mahayana practitioner. His Holiness always said, Mi tewa chimbo imba karo, chu tewa chimbo imba chogo mares, midi tewa chimbo kores.
So His Holiness always says it's not sufficient that the Buddha Dharma is Mahayana. One needs to, the practitioner, him or herself, needs to be a Mahayanist.
That means you have jamru marashi samje.
So not only in order for that practitioner to become a Mahayanist practitioner, the practitioner not only needs to have the basis of refuge in the 3 jewels, one also needs to generate the bodhicitta in one's mental continuum.
Therefore, if we don't have the bodhicitta, we don't have the refuge, then I am Tibetan Buddhism, I'm going to Kurukulla Center. You are not Buddhism. He said, I'm Mahayana person, I'm going to Tibetan Buddhism. No, you are not Buddhism, Mahayana person. Because just you going that means you're not a citizen. That's passport, okay? You need to pass all the exams. There are so many exams, like you have to, in order to U.S. citizen, you have to so many exams. You need to know all the laws, 100 amendments, right? 100 amendments.
Amendments. You
Amendments.
know the amendments of the Constitution.
There are so many laws, like similar that. In order to Tibetan Mahayana Buddhism, not Tibetan, like Mahayana Buddhism, you need to also generate your own mind. Action doesn't become Buddhism. Sure doesn't become Buddhism. Even the most practitioner, Atisha, Atisha? He came Tibetan. Then he said, even the teachers say, I'm the teacher. I'm teaching you guys. I'm guiding you guys. Even within that, the no Lord, non-Buddhism.
Even among those teachers who claim to be teaching the Mahayana or claim to be teaching Buddhism, that are in that position, not many of them actually have genuine refuge in their minds.
Right? Do you heard that?
Have you heard of that before? Anyway.
Therefore, the Buddhism is the most important what? Inner practitioner. Mind. Change the mind. Degenerate or generate.
Generate, not degenerate. Generate bodhicitta.
Generate bodhicitta, okay? Generate bodhicitta. Okay? Generate compassion. Generate loving kindness. That's more important. Therefore, Tibetans say, Tashi Dalai, everyone. You guys, when you see a Tashi Dalai, right? Everyone knows Tashi Dalai. There were so many different ways to describe Tashi Dalai. But His Holiness Dalai Lama described last year for a message for that we want to Tashi Dalai. It's very wonderful. He's Tashi, right? Tashi is the root cause of happiness. I'm just making it very small, right? Do so. Tashi means what? Root cause of happiness. Dalai means the result. Is correct?
Yes.
If you create the root cause of happiness, you 100% achieve
the result.
Achieve the result. Then you are really Tashi Dalai every day. Right? You have always problems that Tashi Dalai is not really Tashi Dalai. Right? Do you saw this online? There have some lines, videos will come like that. Okay? We don't want to Tashi Dalai. Real Tashi Dalai means create the cause of happiness. Real Tashi Dalai. Judy, any Gewadaba, some Sambayabo, Gewadaba, and Mishambala, Karuda, and Jempe, Jangchub, Semda, Shambada, Nije, Gomna, and Judith.
So His Holiness was mentioning that the Tashi, since we all want to have happiness, so Tashi can be seen as like the cause of happiness, creating the cause for happiness, which is benefiting others, generating good minds, altruistic, positive minds in our minds, creating virtues and so forth, in that category of things. So that would be creating the causes for happiness, and that is carried by the word, that meaning is carried by the word Tashi.
아니 되게 되고 아니 지금 아까로 델렉 사이드 소소질라 샹서 퍼센트 개와이 날이 소소질라야 제토와이 나로 아니 샹바 제토와이나 안 타와다 들이지면 저번 남토나 아니 델렉 사이드에 연구했어.
그래서 최다 타투니 이유라.
내가 당 타투기 되버니. 내가 소 근데 제와이나 내가 소 대와요와 소소라니 노라싱이 뭐 보면와 타투라 타와다 담지집에 거부도 그래서.
And so then there are two words there, Tashi and Dilik, right? So Tashi is the cause for having happiness, which I just mentioned, which Geshe just mentioned. And then Dilik is the result that one achieves by creating those causes for happiness. And so then there are two different types of results. The temporary, the moment, or the present that you experience in the present moment, and then the ultimate result, yeah? So the present, the temporary result would be that of having few enemies, few antagonistic situations, things that make you unhappy. So basically being happy and comfortable in this life here and now. and then the ultimate result would be that of achieving full and complete enlightenment in the future.
Then you achieve enlightenment, then you become the inside the altar, then people give offerings, water balls, incense. You have the allergies, you say, I don't like this incense. Like that, right? This is for Dharma way. Another way, you say, good luck.
Right.
Push. Another way is good luck, right? Good luck. Sometimes the Tibetan tradition, they like, how you say, Amatash dile, three pyo yo mare. Sani sho, sani. Ama. Ama sani pe sho, chana kishu. Nam mera ni kansha yun. Ama losa tash dile. Oh. Is it? Everyone knows tash dile. Yeah. Kevamare. Laso ansan jewama. Losa tash dile. Oh yeah. Like sometimes Tibetans have, we have habit. It's habit, right?
Habit. No.
When someone dies, we meet touch the leg. Usually it's not good to say that term, but our habit is a touch the leg. If Bill was very, said, it's a good luck. But in another way, we say, like His Holiness that, describe that way. It's clear, right? Touch the leg means, create the positive karma. Yeah.
Right, it can have different meanings.
Yeah, so different meanings.
Yeah.
Like that, okay? Now we talk here, maybe nothing much. Therefore, meditation like refuge, bodhicitta, lemikana is very important, okay? Then we go to here, okay, almost time's finished. Okay, last week we eat. We read a lot, right? Then we didn't explain much. I like to today read again. Then you guys thinking, give some doubt or idea or cautions. Dona dunga samjin semapa. Koro.
Dona dunga samjin bar samme.
Oh, tanama.
So if it says to summarize, you are endlessly tortured by the three types of suffering. In the yellow gold volume, it's 502. In the blue volume, I'm not sure what page that is. It's right after the quote from. Well, it's right after the quote from Gyaltsab Gyaltso, the seventh Dalai Lama said, the so-called three realms of samsara are a house of molten iron going in any of the 10 directions. Right? Did you find those two stanzas there? So go past that paragraph underneath it and right afterwards. To summarize, Colin. Look, so it's 272, thinking about the suffering of seeking the things we desire but not finding, then that's the outline number, but you have to go several pages beyond that to where we are, okay? Or you can think of it as like a couple of pages before the end of the chapter, okay?
End of the
502 in the gold volume. What is it in the blue volume? Has anyone found it? 455 in the blue volume, 502 in the gold volume. Okay?
Before that, we talk about nature of samsara. They have six realms, right? What 6 realms?
Hell, hungry ghosts, animals, humans, demigods, and gods.
Okay? When we are the
So when we are born into samsara by the power of karma and delusions, then we are going to be born into either one of those, or in one of those 6 realms. And therefore, we talked about the individual types of suffering that is experienced by each of those realm beings.
단데는 막다 독독으로 오잖아. 다 동화 가세요. 다 주로 마부쇼 시행도 다 독독진다 동화 가세요. 말이야.
But then now there were many different types of sufferings that you already discussed. But if we were to summarize all these types of sufferings into one in brief summary, then what kind of sufferings are there?
그리고 어디다든 막 주로 담은 마야 지 록셔서 개말서 가서 록산다 대리 록나 겨사 그랬어.
Okay, so even though you had already read this before, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Read it once more and you'll create virtues, yeah?
안 대록을 삼로 땅에서 안데 간에 나서 안데 갈라게 나서 전화 가서 뒤고 저한테 지나 가서 막고 그랬어.
And so then please, as we're reading, please think about the meaning of the words. And then maybe you will get some questions, like what is this talking about and so forth, and then that can lead to more discussion.
아니 즉 강마도 오만이로 갈아 내니든 가wan도 왔어. 내니 즉 야본분도 왔음서요. 나야 땡가도 또 봤어 그랬어.
And also as you're analyzing, as you're reading, if you think, what was said previously and what is being stated now, maybe there might be some contradiction or something doesn't quite add up, then we can debate about that as well and discuss further.
오케이. 만족 가되나 내 당장 말랍드나 쳐서야 되려고 그래서 싫어하고 막 만족 상황 맞지. 고대로 쳐도나 지가 먹고는 지가 하고 지가 고 냠냠로면 지 냠냠 마 벤도 그러 봤어.
And so if all the time Buddha is the one who is telling you guys everything, then maybe you become kind of soporific and fall asleep like that, or not pay attention and fall into slumber. But if we engage in discussion and maybe one person will understand something, one person does not, and there's active discussion, then there are more opportunities to learn and
Right.
clarify.
Otherwise you say. Okay, now start to read.
Okay,
If your book you can read, not book you can just listen for other people, okay? You guys very good, What? That's not correct. Or that's something, Okay?
Okay, so beginning to summarize, yeah? To summarize, you are endlessly tortured by the three types of suffering. So these three are said to be the length and breadth of suffering. We in samsara have such thoughts as, I am happy, but these thoughts are in their very nature suffering. Our thoughts of I am indifferent are in their very nature suffering. When we pour cold water on a burn, we are temporarily happy. All our happy feelings eventually change into suffering, and thus are the suffering of change. Not only these contaminated happy feelings, but all their concomitant primary minds and mental factors and any contaminated object that serves to develop the happy feelings, all are the suffering of change. When you first receive a burn, you are not actually tormented by heat, although the nature of the burn is heat. This is only temporary, however, so long as nothing hot or cold to the touch comes into contact with the wound. Likewise, contaminated feelings of equanimity, together with their concomitant primary minds, mental factors, and the objects of these feelings, are linked to the seas of future suffering and delusion. They are also linked to the ever-present evil mental states. Feelings of equanimity are therefore the suffering that pervades conditioned phenomena. When hot water, say, comes into contact with a burn, you develop manifest suffering from heat, and this is the worst suffering. This is like the feelings of suffering, contaminated feelings of suffering that torment mind and body, together with concomitant primary minds, mental factors, and the objects of these feelings, are the suffering of suffering. When we feel I am suffering, it is the suffering of suffering. Your notion of happiness, it is self, the suffering of change. A sign that it is not happiness, but only your notion of happiness, is the fact that your suffering will increase after a while. Your suffering had at first only dropped below a threshold level. Later it will rise above the threshold, and the intervening period is your notion of happiness. Suppose we are now sitting in the shade. After a while we will feel cold, so we will move out into the sun. We seem to feel happy for a while, but this is not happiness. When we are miserable, anything we do only increases our suffering. Similarly, if going out into the sun were happiness, we would necessarily never become unhappy no matter how long we sat there. This is not what happens. We suffer again a little later and have to go back into the shade. Our suffering has risen above its threshold, although this is not in fact obvious. The same thing happens when you go walking. When you get tired, you sit down and seem to be happy for a while, but the suffering from standing up has only dropped below its threshold. The suffering from sitting is not yet apparent, although it will soon rise above its threshold when you tire of sitting. Then you will say, I want to go for a walk. When you get up again, your suffering from sitting falls below its threshold, and your suffering from standing again has not yet actually risen above its threshold, and so on. From Arya Deva's 400 verses, you can see that no matter how much happiness increases, it will end. Similarly, suffering also increases, but there is no end to it. The contaminated aggregates are a case of the suffering that pervades all conditioned phenomena. The creation of these aggregates causes one to become a vessel or medium of suffering. You experience the sufferings of the heat and cold of the hells because you have received the aggregates of a hell being. You experience the suffering of a hungry ghost, hunger and thirst, because you have received the aggregates of a hungry ghost. When you create for yourself the body of a donkey, say, you carry a load on your back, get whipped and so on, because you have created for yourself the vessel in which to experience these sufferings. In short, even the unbearable pain of being pricked by a thorn happens because you are afflicted with a set of aggregates. Just as a man carrying a load of brambles on his naked back will never be without suffering until he puts the load down. You will never be without any type of suffering until you are free of the burden of the contaminated aggregates. Okay, so we'll continue reading. So Kyabje Pabongka Rinpoche told of Srijata the householder and how Mangulyana, Srijata's abbot, took him to the ocean shore to show him the bones, human corpses and so on from people's past lives, and how Srijata was moved to develop renunciation. They are called afflicted aggregates for 3 reasons. Fire issuing from brambles is called bramble fire. The afflicted aggregates come from past delusions, the afflictor or substantial cause, so the result has been named after the cause. A man dependent on the king is called the king's man. Delusions, the afflictor of substantial cause, are an outcome of afflicted aggregates. The thing being bolstered is in the name of the bolsterer. A tree that produces a medicine or a type of blossom is called the tree of this particular medicine or the tree of that particular blossom. You were deluded and thus became afflicted with these aggregates, so the name of the result has been given to the cause. These aggregates are the suffering that pervades all conditioned phenomena, because the evil states of suffering and delusion are forever adhering to them. As long as one has these aggregates, each time one does not have the feeling of suffering, one will immediately afterwards be made to develop much suffering by various means. The suffering that pervades conditioned phenomena therefore pervades all suffering and is the root of the other 2 kinds of suffering. The aggregates create the vessel for the suffering of this rebirth because they create the future rebirth that leads to suffering. Among all sufferings, the aggregates are the worst. Samsara is a state of helplessness in which one receives the burden of contaminated afflicted aggregates by virtue of karma and delusion. This means that one takes rebirth from the peak of existence down to the hell without respite and circles between these over and over again. This is why it is correct to see the contaminated afflicted aggregates themselves as samsara. In order to weary of samsara, one must weary of the contaminated afflicted aggregates. Until one wearies of the suffering that pervades conditioned phenomena, one will not truly weary of samsara. Kyabje Pabongka then discussed all this at some length.
Okay? How's it? Any questions? Any doubts? It's true? Or just make just story?
Did you understand everything that you read?
Do you guys understand what we talk about? Not yet.
Okay. So questions then, right? If they didn't
Yeah.
understand, you must have questions.
Okay, what you would?
I wanted to ask about once you start to
see things, the way that, like it's saying here, that when you start to notice things that are causing problems, and you know your habits, like habits that I have cause me problems, and then you start to notice and recognize those things. So it's pretty much it's saying that those types of recognition will help to get to a place of renunciation. Trying to get to that place where you can start to, you know, refrain from doing things that are causing problems. And so, I mean, that's, I'm just kind of trying to reiterate what I'm reading. So.
소속이 공식 예반에서 소속이 또야 이거라 요리 얘네들 알레가리는 공식 예반으로 소속 라운이라지 소속이 하고야 된다 예식께도 꽤나 되게 연중 기하다 치기를 베스 팬토기를 베스
소소 공식 멤버들 하고 그랬어.
그래서 예반이 하고는
멤버 하고는 대라 공식 때 되게 주스에 말다.
대들어지는 양띠 셴바고 최고.
되게 주스에 대락 말. 간지 소소 공식 멤버 하고나 대라 만주가 팽으로 봤어. 대라 만주가 양주 때 만주가 팽이래. 만주가 팽으로 봤어.
So he said that actually wouldn't necessarily help to lead to renunciation, but first of all, one has to not only recognize that habit that one is continually engaging in, but recognize it as being a bad habit or an afflicted habit, right? A negative habit. And then that recognition will then help you to stop and prevent yourself from engaging in that action or falling into that habit again. So that would be the direct outcome. That could be the direct outcome. First, you have to make the determination, the correct determination that this habit is negative, that is causing problems, right? And then based on that, it has to be followed through by a second determination where he says, I don't want to do that again. And with that thought, then that can help prevent you, right? And here I'm just adding something just to clarify. If you only say that this is bad, but it's not followed by the thought, I shouldn't do that and I'm not going to do that, then it's not going to necessarily help, is it? You'll just be an observer that watches it happening again and again, but it's not necessarily going to create you, help you, push you to that next step.
Yeah.
So, you know, it has to be, there has to be a determination in order to stop you from entering into that cycle again, right? But that in itself is not renunciation here. So it's just, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Not renunciation, but I thought maybe it might help you once you start to see those things,
Right.
And recognize them as bad, and be able to break those, you know,
Rules.
be able to help yourself to stop, you know. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's good, you know. Like example, I give you one example, okay? Then lend you a question, okay? Example, usually we know anger is bad, we know, right? Everyone know anger is no good. Everyone know. But behind the ignorance, we have very strong protection called Japchuchang.
Behind anger, you mean?
난도 되게 잡죠. 난도 슈체네 되게 잡초치네. 나도
자, 컨트롤하기 위해 컨트롤하기 위해.
마리바데 잡초치 컨트롤하는 게 어려워.
죄송. 오케이.
내가 마리바데 슈체네. 나도 컨트롤 해보면 하고 되다. 나도 왕시한 뭐 코파 키로 그랬어.
So even though we might know in a moment of sanity that anger is bad, that kind of anger has a very strong support. Something else very, very powerful, something very powerful has its back, okay? And that thing that has its back, that powerful thing that has anger's back there, that supports it, is ignorance. Okay? And so even though we might know theoretically that anger is bad, at the moment when anger arises, because it is...
Sorry.
So at the moment when anger arises and manifests strongly in our minds, because it has that powerful support of ignorance, it blinds us from that nature, from its negative, the anger's negative nature, and we are powerlessly pulled in, forced to follow after it. So first thing, just like right now, do we get angry?
Maybe not but. Then is have a couple of Kurukulla Center. Yamana Geshe Shevada Khensur Yabu Nyemaso. Yamana get something that you could check with us. Nasa Kojalu yours. Then you do it. That Temina Yamana Tangaza, Yamana Nasa, Ngalia Chemasos, Ngala. Get something open Ngalia, Ngalia, which Ngalia to check with the summer petition. Yamana ne idea they have checked. Yamana ne Namila could change. Get to 10 days shooting. Not to call it Yomars.
So when you think about times when you've been angry or when others have been angry, usually there's that sense that it's because either they didn't listen to what I said, or they're not doing things as I think it should be done, or so there's always that I, right, that plays a role in there, or they didn't do nice things to me, or they did bad things to me, or to things that belong to me, as in my friends or family or my acquaintances. So it's the I and the mine, right? When something is being done in a negative fashion towards I or the mine, then in that way, in relation to that, then the anger arises. So when you think about the way that anger arises, there are only two ways.
It's correct? You think there are more than two? If you go to read really deep, there are only two. Me or my. Right? Or they don't accept, they don't agree with me. Right? Then you argue me, no, that's not correct to do this. Right? The other is, he hit my car. Or not. Right? He take my key. Someone take my key, right? In the Padi Dawat away. Tambo nga shi talaji, Tombo nga se chigris. Tani nge chigris. Telena sochon shadang rawa, dola nji chigitilandus. And the Rama Kovalan Gold, that is simply the Niji Songores. Tambo Nachi, the Ningaji. Then they take Yamajini and then Kovalan Kong, that's simply the Niji Songores.
So, Dharmakirti, as Dharmakirti said, first the thought of the I is generated, then following that, the concept of mind is generated, and based on that, that is these.
Kovalan Gold.
And from that, you go from samsara, from state of samsara, you cycle in samsara, in cycle existence.
Right? You me or my, you create the actions, then you create negative karmas. Then result, you become.
Then you fall into samsara.
Like that. Now you just think, okay, yeah, yesterday I got mad. Why? Because my husband doesn't listen to me. Or he didn't cook me. Maybe they didn't put my car in the right place. Right like this? Just you think about it. Today, today, Nandi is also changing. Wagona, Nandi to shoot, Nandi to shoot, Tatamna, Ani, Tang calling you jet over this. Nandi to Shina, Nanga, somebody, a woman do something. Tell a Yabu, some Tantana, Moni, Nandu Saji, Lagos and Lava, Kundu Lagos, my Susu Sem Rangi. When you to some, I didn't call them into Japanese.
So if you really think about that carefully, and then if you realize that kind of grasping at the I, that is actually negative, it's counterproductive to your existence, to your happiness, and you start to recognize it as that it is bad, and with that recognition, then we'll really begin the beginnings of generating renunciation in your mind. And when you realize that is a fault, that is the cause of cycle existence and the sufferings of cycle existence, and then from that, and you try to make the determination to lessen that strong sense of I, the grasping at the I and mind, then from that will burgeon the renunciation in your own mind.
We do a lot of Guru Puja, right? Guru Puja. Rani Chinta Dipaka Jigo, Manam Chinta, take a Lam-rim Lakaro.
Lam-rim prayer.
What they was. Then they are Susu Sandevati, that Dipaka Kaji, Nyomo, Kaji, Tramishibal, Kango Gores, Rani Chita Gabaki, Manam Chita, Yenchiba, which is the Yente Chasang Shimare Somares.
So there is a verse in the Lam-rim prayer of the Guru Puja Lama Chupa that we recite where it says, self-grasping or the self-cherishing mind is the door to all suffering, and the mind that cherishes other is the treasure of all. So it is Yodishi. So it's a foundation of all good qualities, right? And so,
Therefore, like that, they say, one is the, basic or cause of all the
all the problems,
problems.
and suffering.
One is the cause of the basic happiness, right? We don't think that we don't recognize. We have to think, okay, something we are very strong. We say, I'm not very ego person.
Yeah, I'm not a very egotistical person. One might think that.
We think that everyone think I'm not that person, but it shows immediately someone you discussion someone or you do with someone, but you're your own idea. They have their own idea. Because they don't follow your idea or they against your idea, you immediately get mad, right? It's true. It shows you are very.
It shows that you have very strong ego.
Yeah.
The
Right.
eye grasping.
No, we say I'm not a good person. I'm a good person for me. Yeah, you're a very good person, but we don't see. It shows logically. It's correct. Do you understand what I'm talking about? No, you just guess. 나도 용도 왔어. 소소다 야만나 내가 제타 말아봐. 삼삼 말아 미치 지금 가봐야. 소소도 많다고 얘기하라야. 카드 말하는 것도 생각 가오 매와. 아니 카드 랍쇼는 대 소소 잡으려는 안도 슈칭 보이면 다 되랬어.
So when we interact with others, and whether it be a way of doing something, or our own opinions, when we realize that that the other person isn't agreeing with that, isn't following that, and you feel unhappy in your mind or you get angry, that displeases you, then that shows in that moment, what that shows is that behind that is actually a very strong self-grasping ignorance at play.
We have not to, we do not see that. We say, here no mountain, right? The Tibetan call it. The big mountain there, outside the mountain, there's some fire. We say, why? Because there's a lot of smoke coming up there. The reason shows behind that is smoke was a fire. It's clear, right? There shows like, now I say, okay, because I try to my best. Everyone try to best, right? Say, no, I'm trying to best. My idea is better. My idea is better. Yeah, he or she was doing the better, try to best idea. You both same try to best, but you're not agree. We have,
You don't
30,
agree.
30 people have 30 different ideas, 30 different minds, right? Especially the Western side. If you have to put, I always say you have to put the change to the door. Maybe we put the other side. You have to meeting 10 times. Right? No. Yeah, we cannot agree each other. Like that, you have to think about that. Otherwise, anger is bad. We should think about more deep, okay? Then you will understand.
And because we behave and think in that way, therefore we experience endless sufferings, right? The suffering for us is just endless. There's no break. So as a result of that, then we have these contaminant aggregates that we have to carry around all the time. As long as we have these contaminant aggregates, this is the vessel, this is a container for all sufferings. So you just read that in the text we read. Right? And so you could also think, you could be wondering, how could that be? How could that happen like that? So for example, he's using a specific dialect here, a Kampa dialect. So if, for example, if you're to have, I guess he's saying like a little a rash or a bump, a skin irritation, and it itches and it's bothersome. And
therefore, we have to
scratch it.
Not take our force, we have to do like this.
Because it's itching so much, you want to scratch it, right?
Therefore, we cannot do too much itching. We scratch, then more pain.
That increases the suffering. And so what is the root cause of having that type of suffering, of having the itch and the pain of scratching that itch and having it worse and all that? It's the fact that you have this aggregate to begin with.
Correct? You understand the example? You guys
So do you agree with that? So if there is a wound,
true.
and so okay, so if you have some kind of an itchy rash, right, and if you were to scratch it just lightly, then you get that feeling of pleasant kind of tingling feeling of that counteracts the itching. But then the fact that you had that itch and everything to begin with is dependent on there being a rash to begin with, right? That is the cause, the condition for that, those feelings and experience.
Okay, I will give you. Okay, I'll give you one more.
And so then that contaminant aggregates. Okay, that is the result of the self-grasping ignorance. And because the contaminant aggregates is the result of the self-grasping ignorance and other delusions, therefore it's like saying contaminated aggregates is giving the name of the cause to the result. And so because the contamination, which is the ignorance and the delusion, that is the cause, right? And so we call it contaminated aggregates, right? So it's by giving the name contamination, the cause, to the result, the aggregates. That's why it's called contaminated aggregates. Remember, there are three different reasons why it's called contaminated aggregates. The first is that.
Okay?
So if you were to absolutely get rid of, that rash or that lump or whatever that's causing the itching, then the experience, the suffering of itching and then of needing to scratch all that would just be eliminated altogether. Okay, so now we're getting to like a wart situation. So if you just took the wart from the surface, then temporarily gets rid of it, but it could come back again, right? But if you were to really dig into the root of that protrusion, right, and took it out from its very root, then it won't come back. So in the same way that Geshe was saying, in order to really get rid of the rash or whatever from its very root, in order to get rid of it completely, in the same way, you might think, well, okay, if I have this result of this contaminant aggregate of this life with this set of suffering, well, I'm going to have to abandon that when I die anyway, right? So then I'll be rid of the suffering of having this contaminant aggregate at that time. But to think of that is not enough, because again, after you abandon this aggregate, this body, you'll be born again. You'll have to be born again, and then you'll have to take on another set of contaminant aggregates, maybe as a cow or a cat, which would even be worse things, right? And so the only way to stop having to take rebirth at all, having to take on contaminant aggregates at all, is to get rid of the self-grasping ignorance, which is the root cause of the contaminant aggregates.
Okay?
And is that by gaining wisdom?
This chada, the dancing depayala, and the sharp gures.
Chapter what? Then we understand. Then is that dance correct. 근데 다음에 공부 빼나 소설이야. I'm the John. What's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
My name is Aldo.
Aldo. He said you can research yourself.
Yeah.
You said I'm Aldo. You said next to meet you I said Aldo, right?
Aldo.
Like you that time you research. Okay. Who am me? Where? My head, my body. You can just one by one just.
Yeah.
You
Who
couldn't
is
find-
Aldo? Where is Aldo?
Where is Aldo? You couldn't find it. I'm the Aldo. You couldn't find. Like that can do again and again. Then you say enemy. She's my enemy. Maybe your girlfriend is. She's mad. She's bad. Who's her? Body. You couldn't find. Like that can. The tendency is
So analyzing in that way, trying to pinpoint, we usually say I am this or she or he or is that. So then trying to pinpoint which part of that person's body or mind or other aggregates is that person, right? So if you say I'm Aldo, which part of your body is it? Your head, your mind? So when you analyze in that way, then you'll find that you can't find you can't pinpoint where Aldo is, right? Or when you're in Geshe saying, when you say, oh, he or she is my enemy, well, where is that enemy? When you see that person's form, is it which part of the body is that enemy? Or is it the mind? Which part of the mind? So when you analyze in that way, you can't find that identity of Aldo or that identity of enemy, either on yourself or on that person. So then, by analyzing in that way, then you realize that strong grasping at I, the Aldo, or he or she as the enemy, doesn't really exist, right? The way that the I, the self-grasping ignorance projects it to be. And so in that way, by analyzing in that way again and again, then you can gradually learn to generate the wisdom that realizes the emptiness of inherent existence, the emptiness of the self.
Therefore, in order to do that, we need to more study, more thinking. Okay, now Annette.
You've answered my question. So this passage just fascinates me because it just implies that the body is a contaminated aggregate. Like you said, it's the vessel for all of our suffering. And I see that as somewhat of a contradiction because then the Buddha says that it's a precious human rebirth and this body is the perfect vessel for enlightenment. But is that because of our suffering that it's the perfect human rebirth? Or is it, that's one question. And I understand I understand the notion of aggregates, but as in everything in Buddhism, it's like an ocean, and I imagine that there's more than just like the body, speech, and mind of aggregates. It's just like layers and layers of contaminated aggregates, like in all the three places, the body, speech, and mind. If you could just define that a little more, maybe.
So what are the aggregates?
Yeah, that we're supposed to be
meditating and analyzing.
Yeah.
네, 당보는 단어디 기시
미대.
산일링기 폼보디 안에 대 동아 탐측이 너이나 너이 받지라 뭐란게 디 통기루사 이네 양 쇼기전바는 다 밀리텐디 안에 대 약슈라지 네 남배추 장야당데네 네 상이 공부 토야라 약슈라 and yang segidos and deni gala in that means the kindness this and then diwa nibanen diri na 풍포 맞아 풍포 가디나 풍포라야 돼 안에 대 찌짜바 뭐랑 하고서 이네 다 디고 풍포라는 가래리스 안에 디 풍포 난긴 룽아기 숨나 두기 유지레스 이나디 간데시레스 디고 됐어.
Okay. We need to more time. I just that could the word of Lama.
So for you to easily understand, to speak in a general way.
Okay. 만주 매일 리드 마도 타와도 탐지 봐 산재 공부도 도약이 저수직도 더 말했어.
밀리드마도.
바주당 Pabongka 돈도 수직도 더 말했어.
Yeah. So among the 6 different types of realms of existence, 6 different types of realms of beings that exist, except for the human being, it wouldn't be possible to attain liberation from samsara or full enlightenment on any other basis, such as the hell beings or the Irak, the hungry ghosts, on the basis of being an animal, any other realms, yeah?
대면만은 단단 섬진 가지 도둑하지 배나 가지는 간도 밀 콘도 야요 배나 친구거나 저는 콘도 야요 간도 콘도 야래.
So, for example, now, when you talk about specific types of knowledge or specific types of qualities or abilities, of course, some of those other beings might be way better than humans. For example, a dog's sense of odor is much more keen than a human being's, right? So they're better at smelling things than human beings would be.
아니 휴체모잖아 란첸도 따도 휴체요.
And then if you're talking about physical strength, then elephants or, tigers, those types of animals are much stronger than
이나
humans.
콘도 차상 간도 왕도 도그랬어. 간도 미가 왕도 도그랬어.
But it's the human beings who then actually overpower and dominate all those animals, isn't it?
그래서 가르쳐와는 민나지기 간에 답신 켜봤다. 자다 제동 요 말라 그랬어.
And so therefore, it's very hard for those types of other beings to equal human beings in terms of being skillful. 다시 개바당,
담게봐.
탕개바당,
니바체모.
and being very powerful, skillful and powerful in terms of intelligence. Yeah, those other types of beings wouldn't be able to equal the human's intelligence or skillfulness in that way.
당연히 고대오지라 이게 추나지 세고 막 고대오지 세고다.
And so
고대오지.
he's speaking here just in a general way, not necessarily technically in relation to the Dharma here, scripturally, but in a general way.
근데 이런 것도 미세야 돼. 말하기 막고 또 그랬어.
And just by those kind of reasonings, you can see that a human being is actually so uncommon.
니바체모.
Uncommon is so more powerful. That the human being, that this human rebirth, or usually in human beings, have these uncommon characteristics compared to the animal beings or the other types of beings.
배나 간수 대상가도 참만 세일라 세일스야지 아트가 나지 간도 하사게로 세일라.
And for example, we are usually very surprised, astonished by the developments in technology and science, material science.
대차사 미기 소유라서.
And all that is made by the mind, or made by the human beings' minds, right?
오늘 지난 가도 밀 하사게로 생각도 없었어요.
And so, in truth, we should actually be very astonished and surprised, impressed by human beings, because human beings are the ones that created all that technology that we are fascinated and astonished by.
Right? This is 저와 담보디 레임 기사 있어.
And so this is kind of in an addressing your first
대대대는
question.
가지 다 미리되고 대리 쉐베찬에 야 강가 고 제도만 고 따치 버렸어. 네가 제도만 제도 따치 못 버렸어.
And then
근데 가지 야 누가 쳐서 미나지 제도면다 다 미리 자단 제가 고가 just only opportunity to human beings.
So all those kinds of things that Geshe was talking about in terms of, I think we're talking more from the intelligence, the human being's intelligence and what can be created by the power of human beings' intelligence, that goes to show that only the human beings are able to do that, right? The hell beings, the hungry ghosts, the animals, the other types of beings are not able to create what the human beings are able to achieve with their intelligence, right? That goes to show the importance and the special characteristic of having a human rebirth.
Okay? If you understand a little bit?
이나디 패치다 뭐라는 거 아는다 풍보라 믹스 풍보다 밀 류텐 게 개발 류텐당 류텐 써야당 밀 류텐당 미 풍보 되니라 개발이다면서 대 패치 데이터스
미 풍부도 밀리트 가가랬어 봐.
Another thing here is that I was just pointing out to Geshe that you were talking about the aggregates, that based on the aggregates that you experience all these sufferings, right? Now, when you say the precious human rebirth in Tibetan Milyuten, those are two separate qualities, two different aspects of a human being's life, right? So he was saying that those are two different things. Yeah?
아니 밀 그러다 미 풍부 빠야래 뭐 풍부 빠자랬어. 밀리트 빠자 말했어.
So for example, human beings' contaminated aggregates are objects to be abandoned, right? They are actually objects that we actually actively should try to abandon, yeah? But the precious human rebirth, and here it's important to recognize the difference between mere human rebirth versus a precious human rebirth, right? A precious human rebirth that which has all the leisures and endowments, qualities to be able to practice the Dharma and progress on this path and so forth. So that kind of a precious human rebirth with all the characteristics, all the leisures and endowments, that is not an object to be abandoned here. So that's another way of distinguishing, differentiating between the two.
I don't know, I don't know what example.
So, okay, how about out to you guys? Do you see the difference between the mere aggregates of a human being versus a precious human rebirth? The qualities of having a precious human rebirth. Do you see the difference between those two? Annette, can you?
Yeah. I mean, other than that all beings have Buddha nature. I mean, that's not considered a precious human rebirth?
No.
Oh, okay,
no,
that's the
right.
distinction.
Because Buddha nature, okay, so I'm just speaking up here. First and foremost, your question, Geshe. You got it, right?
Yes, all scientists have Buddha nature.
But all sentient beings do not have precious human rebirth.
Oh, okay. But they have the potential for precious human rebirth.
이런 그 씨발이라 certain times 밀릴 톱씨발이라. So they have the potential to be able to achieve precious human rebirth, but they don't have precious human rebirth if they're not a human being with those qualities that you're saying, Giannis.
Okay. 나게로 나 배나 너도 리데 다 공부된 로가로 다 미리들 미데
들어가.
로마로 잡고요. 대단 고 배나 보지나 다다 보여줘. 왔다 주먹고 보모제나 아니 이 로마도 이유네 고 보모를 보자. 될로 잡고.
So our body, our physical aggregate here, the body aggregate, can be considered like a guest house, and the person can be like the guest, right? So in the same way that a traveler or guest travels and stays from one guest house to another, one hotel room to another, in the same way the person travels, takes on one set of aggregates of a type of being in one life, abandons that at the end of that life, and then takes on another set of aggregates of another kind of being in that way.
Therefore, our human body is a 5-star hotel. 5-star.
Yeah. And so, I forgot to say, and Geshe said, just in the same way that, just because a person is born a male in this life, they abandon that, aggregate, the body of a male, at the end of that life. The next birth, that person can be born with the aggregates of a female. So there's no certainty that you'll always have a male birth or male body.
Right? The animal bodies like very low quality hotel. They're less. But we have 5-star hotel. They're very expensive, We have problems, right? We can enjoy a lot of things, but also a lot of expensive things we have to. Look at that. I don't know if the example going on that. Okay? Then, okay, one second. 다 Pabongka 몰라고 그랬어. 또 Pabongka 사이드 배나가도 소화지 필링도 와. 내가 소요 Pabongka 그랬어. Pabongka 인심이 가도 민통한 거고 말했어. 수지 Pabongka 가도 단다 라인도 내가 수지 Pabongka 그랬어. 소화하는 것도 필링도 와 될라 그랬어.
So when you read the Heart Sutra, we talk about the 5 aggregates, right? So each of those are an aggregate. So you have, for example, Geshe was saying, when you have a feeling, so that's a feeling aggregate of feeling. And our physical body form like this is the aggregate of form. So in that way, so each of the 5 that you recite, feeling, form, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, consciousness, so each of those are an aggregate. So you have an aggregate of consciousness, aggregate of feeling, aggregate of compositional factors, and so forth like that. Those are the aggregates. And so if it's an aggregate, it's not necessary to be a gross physical matter like this body. It's not necessary to be a gross body, physical form. In fact, so within the 5 aggregates that we have there, form, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness, it's only the form, that is a gross physical matter of the body. All the other 4 are related to the mind. So for example, last night, when you were thinking, tomorrow morning I'm going to go to Kurukulla Center, I'm going to do this, do that. So that is the aggregate of a discrimination, right? A factor, the mental factor that decides, that analyzes, decides and labels, I'm going to this and that, this is that, this is that. That is called discrimination, right? So
Okay.
you said in your mind, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go to Kurukulla Center tomorrow morning, so that you were using the aggregate of discrimination at that moment.
Okay?
Okay?
Okay, yeah, maybe. Jennifer?
So is this saying then there really, that everything we think is happiness is just a lower degree of suffering?
어떤 대화를 하면서
마su dewasan sama deso ane de tungai
노학문적으로 해가지고 노학문적으로 해가지고 대화를 하면서
Yes, he said so. All the things that we think are happiness are all the sufferings that are not yet manifested. So we think it's happiness.
So it's just a relief, a temporary relief of suffering is what we call happiness.
Basically, example, we have some disease. We have some disease. But it's maybe 10 years already go, but we don't feel.
So for example, if you had like a real, an illness that you felt the pain of for a long time, for 10 years, right? And if one day you don't feel that again,
Yeah, man. 그만 나서 보대 나도 나서 하고 막 아주 신경 많이 왔어. 근데 그 나서 요 당아도 그냥 재미.
Oh, okay, sorry. So let's say you contracted a disease, an illness, like say 10 years ago, but it actually hadn't manifested yet or developed to the point where it's manifesting symptoms, for example. So it's always been there, right? But you didn't actually, it's not manifesting, right? The disease is not manifesting. So at that point, then you don't feel the...
야, 그래서 그 니마지 젠테네 그냥 저마도 가서 신경 많이 젠테네.
So until that disease meets with the proper ripening conditions to manifest, into into a grosser level of activity where you feel the symptoms and so forth, you don't know that suffering of the illness is there, right?
근데 단나가서 저도 까만 나가도 돼, 명만 나가도 돼.
So do your legs or your knees hurt right now?
No. Who hurt? You ever? I have a little bit hurt. You're Sera, right? 옛날 세라가 단나 삐만하대 단계 담보 대화도 나 말아봤어.
So whoever has he mentioned.
단다라 나 말. 단계 대화 까만 가진 곳은 그때 나는 고추는 거였어. 나 나도 용거에 말아봤어.
Good.
맞대네. 까만 가지 전에 그 대화 매와 용거 당가도 그 저거 말했어. 다 예를 보자. 아니 그 같은 경우는 나 그래야 돼.
Right. So then, first of all, like you might not feel the suffering of having your knees or your legs hurt, right? It hasn't actively manifested yet, right? But then several minutes later, a little bit later, and then later on when you try to get up, then you feel those aches and pains and creaking joints. Then at that time it's manifested, right? That suffering has manifested.
right? 그냥 가도 추타오였구나. 추타오 하얀 날로 몇 발나. 그 담은 타오 쳐 말아. 타오고 야 그거 타오 쳐 봐. 담은 거 애들이 저 저거는 무부부고요 그런 거.
And so, for example, when you put cold water in a pot and then put it on the fire, at first it doesn't start boiling from the first moment of being put on the fire, right? It happens gradually, and the heat increases slowly by slowly. The cold decreases gradually. At the same time, the heat increases gradually, and in that way, then the cold is completely gone, and then the heat then completely manifests, and it becomes boiling hot water, right? In that same way.
당한도 단지나 단다 치고서라 그래. 첫 단다 코서라 그래. 첫 단계는 그 갈갈이 kuid어 가서 단지 작업 말아 왔어.
So even though we might just say that, oh, the water's boiling now, but that's not factual, isn't it? It's been boiling slowly all along.
Okay? Like that. Red discount 단계 가도 되는데 양 슈도 왔어. 야라에 동안도 마대에 동안 가는 거 근데 나 뺀데 해고 잡는 거.
So it's very well clearly explained in the text that we just read.
다 지나서 대레는 다 썰다. 다들 썰다. 배자는 데라 당한테 용은데 소소 직삼 당을 했어.
And so it's not merely enough just to read about it, but now sit there, put the book aside, and think about it, and apply that to yourself. Does that really happen to me or not?
대랑 가서 곰자라 그랬어.
And then in that way, you need to then do meditation on it.
되는 거는 벤도 그랬어.
And if you really do that, then it will be a benefit.
Right? This like 배자는 강 소원하지 소소 스템한테 레드도 따오랬어. 근데 레드나 다 그냥 좀 요원도 그랬어.
And if whatever has been written and that you read from the text, then you need to then think and apply it to yourself, to your own mind, to your own situation, and then think, is this true or not?
근데 배자는 지금 소소 삶을 삶다다 대도 전에 말하고 잖아. 근데 다 도발한 것도 다 저자고 있어.
And then if what you've read, understood from the text, from the scriptures, and what you think, your own opinions, are different, if there is, if there is a difference between what you read and you understand from the text and what you think, what you've experienced, yeah? Then there we need to then kind of discuss and question and debate and clarify.
But I'm going to Lapa the Tramaraja, I'm going to Lava, Lapa Tramaraja, Tramaraja is Lapa. I'm going to Lapa Chin, Subochin, Tomen, Tramaraja, Hangomar was. The Minglawa Kenichar was. One is also Lapa, Suboyan, I'm going to Tramaraja.
So, for example, we say that the wind has the nature of a cold nature, cold feeling, right? But if you never experienced what the wind feels like against your body, then you just, your only option is to accept what someone else says, someone else who has experienced it and says, oh yeah, the wind has the nature of the cold touch, yeah? But if you really go out there and then feel the wind against your skin and feel its cold nature, then you say, oh yeah, it's really like that. Yeah? The same way.
Okay, now I'm talking too much. Okay, your question.
Yes. I'm a little confused about the aggregates.
Okay.
We just read, among all sufferings, the aggregates are the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I could ask the question two ways. Do only sentient beings have aggregates? And is it the contaminated, inflicted quality of the aggregate? Is that what we're trying to get rid of?
Dalai, je tançede sadece yapımları düşüyoruz. Ane dela diwa ni yores. Ane sentient tançe, sentient ina. And are you talking about, you said if it's a sentient being, do all sentient beings contaminate aggregates?
No. Is it only if we're no longer a sentient being, do we still have aggregates?
Okay, so if you're not a sentient being, do you still have aggregates? Sentient minor, and so you're not saying contaminated aggregates, you're just saying aggregates, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay, sentient minor, who yodames.
Yours. Right.
Who tipo? So even if you're not a sentient being, you still have aggregates. So Buddha would have, Arya Buddha would have aggregates. And your second question? That answers, okay.
Okay, then we leave that. Okay, thank you. Then short prayer, Happy New Year. Thank you, everyone. Also, main things, not just leave the book there, okay? Read and thinking. Oh, it's work or not. This is important, okay? Meditation means thinking about that. Not just close eyes. If someone call you, you just stay there, not like that. Think about analytical meditation. Our teachers, they read the book, then close the book, and also they shoo koma do goma changa nyam do jane. Koma kala wati goma la kare pen do kom jal yoris.
So, a teacher?
Mina teacher do cheges mina ngandu ge kanju wa.
Okay, so...
Kanju ngandu kadena kom jal yoris. Ani ge tambu peja lo. Peja ndelo ne peja tambu kala nibe kar toni baran dewa kar do kom jal yoris.
So there was a great teacher, actually one of the root teachers for many of our own teachers, including Geshe Tenley here and Geshe Tsulga, by the name of King Gangyurwa, a former abbot of Sera Je. And what he would do is he would read various texts, right? And then after he's read several passages, and he would put that aside, and then he would close his eyes, and then he would meditate, and meditate on all the things that he had read before, things that he read afterwards, and then analyze the connection between, are there any contradictions, different points, and he would analyze, do an analytical meditation on everything that he's read.
Like example, you guys, whatever you do, you really study, right? You remember that. Same as like Buddhism way also. Like I always told you guys, it's possible you can memorize the outlines, like Lam-rim. Then you can cross, okay, first outline, talk about that. You just, a lot of teachers do that. They don't read the whole book like this. They just memorize outlines, then meditation. Okay, first, Guru. First, Guru devotion. then they did impermanent, and then small scope, medium scope, great scope, like that. They just 1 hour or 20 minutes, they can do meditation all. The memorize very important. Therefore, you guys just only memorize the outlines. Then you don't have to memorize all them. We didn't study one by one all the Kanyu Tenjus, but we, I'm not say 100%, but we pretty know what they talk about. We are not chapter, we are Karo.
So it's not necessary that we have to read every single word in every single text. So usually the content, the subject matter is the same, but the way that it expressed, the way it is explained is a little different from one text to another.
Okay, if you study one book very good, then you can.
So if you really study one book very well, he just said that in English. So if you study one book really well, then that can become, then based on that and related to that, then you can understand all the other texts. So that can become like a key, right? That opens the meaning into all the other texts of the same subject matter.
Right? Therefore, we say, first very important to basic practice, basic understanding, basic, not go that. Mahamudra, emptiness, or something. So you will fall bad dangers if you are not basic. First, we have the basic, very step one, understand the renunciation, bodhicitta, loving kindness, I say, Shambhaji.
Loving kindness and compassion.
Oh, really? Like that, like the nature of the samsara, you are very good, then you will be stable. You have no idea what the horse here, you jump here. Hold on. This sometimes Westerns a little bit like jump here, right? I'm not you guys, just basically, they will always, okay, this is good. Okay, thank you.
So basically, it's very important to have a very strong foundation, basis on which then you can grow and expand your practice and studies, understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Want me to do a shortened version? Okay, whatever you want. Well, no, no. Okay, I'll pretend it's Wednesday night. Okay. All right, page 39, please. Saji Peki Jun Shing Mei To Tram Ri Rab Ling Ji Ni De Gem Pa Di Sang Ge Jing Du Mi Te O Wa Gi Dro Ku Nam Da Jing La Cho Par Sho Jesu Ma Me Ku Je Rab Ten In Nam Ka Trin Le Cho Chu Ge Pa Dang Lob San Tempe Drum Me Sap Sum Gi Dro We Mun Zel Ta Tu Ne Gur Shi Idam Guru Radna Mandala Kam Niryata Yami. From my two collections, vast the space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddhist deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenre Zig remain in life till samsara's end. Page 49, short long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Tup song chang jing gong go gelwe, Tenzin gyo pelwe gunzo do portse, chong sung ko wele mon tu dru, pa dak zo do je gundu zap ten shou. Your form embodies all Buddhas. Your nature is that of Vajradhara. You are the root of the three jewels. Homage to you, O Gurus. In short, I seek your blessings, O Protector, to be cared for by you from birth unremittingly throughout all my lives, and thus to become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O Protector, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be foremost among your very first disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, may be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Furthermore, in life after life, may I, pleasing him in return, be forever fostered by an accomplished Mahayana spiritual master, the source of every virtue of this world and beyond. In his care, may I inquire in him a firm, unshakable faith, pleasing him by every means possible, doing nothing even for an instant to disappoint. May my spiritual master impart to me every instruction and every teaching in its entirety. Having understood them faultlessly, may I practice them and be able to bring them to perfection. May I never even for a moment fall under the sway of malevolent teachers, misleading friends. Having developed in every life belief in cause and effect, renunciation, the Bodhi mind, and the pure view, may I embark upon them continually with effortless experience. In every life, may every virtuous act gathered by way of body, speech, and mind be causes solely for the welfare of others and for the purest and highest enlightenment. Page 57. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Page 75. Mimit say wei te chen chen rei zig dream kem pei wang po jump pel young gang chen ke pe Good day. Okay, all right. Short version.
Quick version. Thank you very much, Geshe. Thank you, Aniyashi. We have tomorrow Losar celebration. So we have 5:30 p.m. It's always a celebration of Lama Yeshe, who is one of the founders of the FPMT of his life. And that'll be at 5:30 p.m. Wendy will do a talk about him, 5:30 to 6. And then 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we'll do the extended Lama Zopa Guru Puja, which means all the piece, and we don't do just the LCs, we do all the parts in between as well. So it's a really beautiful practice. It's a bit longer than usual, but it is well worth attending. And even if you can't attend for the whole time, just come, stop by, stay for as long as you can, and go. There's no rule that said you can't do that. And then on March 11 and 12, or 12 and 13, that's when the relics tour of His Eminence Geshe Ngawang Tenley is. Oh, sorry, I knew that. I knew my alarm to go off. I was like, class should have been done. There you go. I need to pick something up for Nick, and I knew I would forget. And so March, then the relic tour will be here. We'll need a lot of help. In the beginning, to do some setup, we'll need help. And then we will also, during the event, need just to have sort of ushers here to help people, to welcome them. And in between, there might be some other tasks. We'll put it in a sign of genius. And then after that, we've got Venerable Thupten Chodron coming for a teaching in April. So also watch the press for that. And Karen, new bookstore? Cool. Until when?
Through Wednesday.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And that's it. Thank you very much.